every agent has their own way of how they do things. Some people, they just add all the max wind mitigation credits. Wind mitigation is something that we have in Florida where it talks about how the roof's attached.
Yep.
Those are really big credits. Those could be a few $1,000s. There's some agents that will quote like a 1930s, 40s home with clips, and it's not very often that those home have clips. So we always quote worst case. Our quotes can be higher off the bat, but we tell you that like we need the wind mitigation to verify us, adjust those quotes, because I never want anybody to go in with maybe a best case quote and think that they can afford the home and then not be able to and lose their deposit. So I mean that every agent has their own preference with how they do things, and I always quote worst case.
Exactly. And a lot of people are underquoting,
Mhm.
and they're underquoting to such an extent that that isn't even a real quote,
Yeah.
right? So in no way, shape, or form, because everyone needs to understand when you're taking out a mortgage on a home, right? There needs to be a certain amount of insurance to ensure, because I mean, the lender owns the home until you eventually potentially pay that home off. That's their risk. Insurance is a part of that. So
Yes.
I think sometimes people don't think about that, right? They're like, oh, it's insurance for me. It's like, no, really, that institution that's loaning you that big chunk of money needs to see. And with a really low quote, that won't pass underwriting. And
Yeah.
we've seen that happen. And so a lot of these insurance agents, like if, we don't work with you on something, that can become a really big problem. So that's really important for people. If you're getting a really low quote, really of any kind of quote, you should probably go like, why is that?
Yeah. I mean, unless it's brand new construction's still pretty low, but
Right.
otherwise you definitely should second guess that because you don't want anything, your deal to fall through at the end.
Exactly.